The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio. Let's get into the program and talk about perennials for the garden. These can be flowers and or edible things that come back year after year.
Right. So there's a lot of perennial plants and some common, I'm talking about non-edibles. Some common ones are things like hostas. Daffodils. So those are bulbs.
Yes.
Yeah, but hostas are a huge one. A lot of people like those.
Daylilies,
yep. Tulips. Did you say tulip? No, you said
I didn't say
daffodils.
tulip. I said daffodil.
And then also there's clematis. There's coreopsis. So, and typically if you go to a garden center, there's going to be an area for perennials and then annuals. And then there's edibles. Yep. So if you're ever like, I don't know what I want, if you go to your independent garden center, they can help you.
You just say, hey, I'm new at this. Can you help me? And they will be more than happy to direct you and advise you on, okay, where are you wanting to plant this? Well, that wouldn't be good for that area. This would be a better, they will walk you through.
Right.
A good independent garden center will walk you through because they care about you. Other places, not so much.
And they'll help you find something that will work for your growing zone,
yes,
as opposed to
and
maybe a big box store that wouldn't.
And they typically, an independent garden center in your region, Denver, Kansas City, Boston, they will have plants that are specifically for that area.
One of our local garden centers even has native species. So definitely we encourage you to check that out. As far as vegetables / edibles, there's quite a few, and most people in the United States can grow them.
Right. We'll start with strawberries. We would recommend there's June-bearing and ever-bearing. We talked about this in the program a couple of weeks ago. You can get these, and if you're going to plant them, I would recommend planting them in the ground in a very good location, full sun, because if you try to plant them in a container, you are probably going to get berries, but you're going to nurse that plant, have to water it very frequently in hot days. You're going to do a lot of work for 3-4 weeks of berries, and you got to keep it alive the other 26 to 28 before it goes in dormancy. In the ground, a lot less work. And they will come back 5 to 7 years is the average lifespan of strawberry plants. And there's some ways you can do cages over them to keep the birds or other things from eating them. And slugs are a problem, but we're talking about just the plants themselves. Problems are for another program. And strawberries, they do good in most soil.
Right. Strawberries are fun to grow. And I think, especially if you have kids or grandchildren, they're fun to grow. I remember when we had our strawberry patch, our niece and nephew really enjoyed getting the strawberries directly from the patch.
And now, our niece could not eat store-bought strawberries. She would break out.
Yeah.
She'd eat the strawberries out of the garden. No problem at all.
Yeah, I forgot
Food
about
for
that.
thought.
Yeah, definitely.
Berry plants.
Yeah, berry plants. So this includes anything from like raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, elderberries. There's a lot of different berry plants. Some of them are like just good to go, put them in the soil, blah, blah, blah. Some, like blueberries, want a
lower
acidity soil. So you want to do your research on that. And then also a lot of times rabbits will eat your berry plants, so you might want to put up a little cage around them.
Deer defeat.
Deer defeat, yeah.
Deer defeat. They have an all-natural deer, rabbit, and groundhog spray. Non-toxic, environmentally friendly, and it will last through rain, sleet, and snow. Use coupon code RADIO to save 10% on your order when you go to deerdefeat.com. Rabbits are a big problem there. Some people choose other means to eradicate them, but if you are one that can't or chooses not to, Deer Defeat is a good alternative to keep them from eating what you're growing. So yeah, berry plants. And there's maintenances that you got to do with berry plants based on how many you've got and everything, and keeping them healthy and happy. But berry plants, a very easy plant to grow. Get started, and it will take care of itself. Now, raspberries, we've got golden raspberries. We are finding that they have runners, which we knew this, but we never really planned for this. So we've got runners of free raspberry plants kind of coming up in a few places in the garden, which not a bad thing. Not at all. Asparagus, Holly. Or you got something about berry plants?
No, it's just
okay.
excited for asparagus.
Okay.
So we finally, I think in 2020, right?
Yep.
We decided to grow asparagus or start it because it takes a few years to become a patch.
Established
asparagus. And so we bought our asparagus crowns from our local garden center.
And we can harvest everything this year.
Right. So but here's the word to the wise.
Yes.
We put them in the ground and they didn't do anything. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. And
they didn't come out of dormancy.
No.
They were dead.
So then we called the garden center and we said, can we return these? And they were like, just give it another week or whatever. And we were like, that's not the case. A week isn't going to make a difference. And so they let us return them. And then we got them from another garden center thing. But when you plant them, you want to make sure you spread the roots out. You'll have these roots that are like
giant spider legs.
Like spider legs. And then get them established. And then the first year they're planted. The second year you'll have some asparagus fronds. Is that what they're called?
Spheres.
Spheres.
Now that's if you've planted a 1 year or a 2 year. There's different years of crowns in which you can purchase. Two would be recommended, but they're more costly.
Right. So then we just trimmed them. Did we trim them back? Yeah.
We did trim a few. We left everything alone the first year. Last year we harvested very few. We have the green kind. I forget if it's Martha Washington.
Mary Washington.
And there's also purple or burgundy color that we don't grow. And then the white is whenever you bury them. The Asians use that. They grow the asparagus, they cover it, they bleach it out, and they harvest it white. So
bleach. Yeah. So anyway, so that now we should be able to harvest.
Correct. We can harvest everything that comes up this year. Fruit trees are another wonderful aspect in which you plant once. It's an investment. Could cost a couple of, dozen dollars, but it's going to be there for pretty much as long as you're around. If things bad don't happen, if you don't cut it down or damage it. Fruit trees, a lot of fruit trees can grow in places in which you don't think they can. Fig trees, there's many varieties in which are cold hardy. Peach trees, there are varieties in which can grow in zone 4, and there's certain ones can only grow in like Georgia. So if you want fruit trees, there is a very high probability in which you could get the specific type of fruit tree in which you want on your property. You just have to source it from the right place. So keep that in mind. Now, if you don't want to do that or don't have the available real estate in order to grow fruit trees, there are many dwarf variety options in which you can buy, and from pomegranate to orange to lime to lemon, that you can grow in your house. We have done that. The only downside to growing them in your house is two things. One, you have to pollinate with a Q-tip as they flower. They can take about 3 years to get to a flowering state because you buy them and they're a little stick, as well as they can harbor diseases, it appears to us, much more easily, such as scale, than if they were outside.
Right. And we had a dwarf
orange,
was it a lime tree
initially,
yeah. And they were like little, I think they were like in the key lime variety. Mm-hmm. And it was cute. It was fun to have. We got on clearance or something. And then it got scale, and the scale basically killed it. And then now we got this orange tree from our local garden center. And did we buy that in 2020?
Yes.
I think. And now it's finally flowering.
But it has scale.
It has some scale. So we'll see what happens it's okay. It seems to be doing decently.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. Another thing is those flowers stink.
They're very potent flower. Yes. It smells like burning rubber. It does.
It's terrible.
Another thing in which you can do that's low profile, many people say it's invasive. However, we've not found that to be the case, which is Jerusalem artichokes or sunchokes. And you can also grow these in containers as well to control if you're concerned with them. They are a root crop that has a low level of starch in them that can return year after year. A typical plant will produce 3 to 8 pounds based on the fertility of your soil, and they can get up to 10 to 16 foot tall and bear small daisy-like flowers. They are related to the sunflower plant, and these will grow for a long time. We have the white variety. There is a burgundy variety in which you can also source, and you can get them online right now. Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace has them. Macari has sellers that are producing them, and you just kind of have to see what they have available and what you feel comfortable paying, and you can have them. And it's a buy once and never have to buy again type of plant. We find that if you clean the roots off and peel them and then put them in chips, cut them in chip size, as well as then coat them with an olive oil, you can air fry them and make like potato chips with them. You can put them in stews, soups, stir fries. You have to let them cook down in a roast. You can eat them raw too. Very unique, but very earthy taste.
Definitely.
If you want to get rid of 90% of the earthy taste, you peel them first. As difficult as they are to peel.
Because they're kind of knobby.
Yeah, very well worth the effort to peel them in order to get the nutrition of them, but not the earthy taste that a lot of the skin holds.
Right. So speaking of earthy.
Yes.
Well, kind of. We are brought to you today by Walton's Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from. Canning, preserving your fruits and vegetables from the earth is great. But what about the meat? At Walton's, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way. They also have different seasonings, different spices, spice mixes. I just made a roast the other day, and I used their steak and roast spice rub thing. It was quite delicious. And then they also have meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers to help you go from animal to edible. And they also have an informational website called meatgistics.com to help you make the best finished product. Walton's everything but the meat. That's waltonsinc.com. You can use code GROW50 to save 10% off of orders of $50 or more. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.